Okay, we begin with our check-in, along with the question, what does it mean to be compassionate? And why is it important to be compassionate?
Hello, everybody. This is San. I would say that being compassionate might be the one thing that makes us human. And if we lose the capacity or the capability to be compassionate, then we lose what makes us essentially human, and therefore we cannot connect anymore. So that leads to like a path of destruction of like ourselves and others. So I see it as something that's essentially at the core of who we are. And if we cultivate it, that's where our evolution would be. Yeah. Thank you.
What does it mean to be compassionate? To me, being compassionate about things that happen to people, or being compassionate about the way people do something, or the way people treat you. This is a way to stop, a cycle of like negative energy coming in, right? So being compassionate is a way that you're able to rise above the pain and suffering that's floating around and being passed everywhere, and to be the one to put a stop to it, right? To be able to see it for what it is, to be able to see where it's coming from, and then thereafter you're able to take action to end a vicious cycle. And that's what I feel it means to me to be compassionate to people. For otherwise, if you're not compassionate, then you're joining in and debating and creating and adding your contribution to the negative mess that's flowing around. So why is it important to be compassionate? It's important because, well, it's up to you, right? You think it's your duty to stop the buck stops at you, or do you think it's somebody else's problem? So if you think it's your responsibility to stop the negative cycle, then it's important. If you think it's not your business, then it's not important. So it's kind of where people are at in how, in their values, and or how aware they are of what is going on. Are they in the negative? Are they mixing in the negative energy, or are they trying to rise above it?
Compassionate, what does it mean? I think from my personal point of view, I think compassion starts with the self. So I think that's something that I'm learning slowly as I go. Yeah, and I think it's really important to be compassionate, especially to yourself and to the people around you. And you kind of help people see a different way of being and doing that they haven't thought of, or haven't had the privilege of encountering. Yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents.
So, what does it mean to be compassionate? I think it's just at least coming from a place where you recognize that everyone's just like you, where we all just want to be happy and not feel suffering. The things we like, the things we don't like, to see that that's what ties all of us together. That there is no difference, between us, despite of our differences in opinions. And because of this interbeing it is very important to be compassionate because sometimes we are trapped in dualistic mindsets. And in this world that we're in, we will think of you're wrong, I'm right. And when we shine that compassionate view upon ourselves, do we want to continue this you're wrong, I'm right kind of mindset? This kind of dualistic, combative mindset? And sometimes it takes compassion in a sense to just put a stop to it, instead of just pushing it and insisting. So I'm saying this because this is what I'm experiencing, especially for this week. And I'm learning that it does take a lot of effort to bring that into every aspect of my life. Yeah, thank you.
Compassion is a very interesting subject. Right now, I feel like I need to have more compassion towards myself and not forget my own needs, because I have the tendency to just put my needs aside. I won't eat or drink or sleep when I'm doing things for other people. I go into that mode of being sometimes, and it really affects me. So I'm looking at the balance now. And another thing that came up for me when it comes to compassion is that I'm very grateful for the people I have in my close group of friends, my community, because they are so encouraging and supportive, and they're like my mirror, you know. And they automatically know how to support me when I'm feeling down, and I feel like that's very important for all of us. We all need to surround ourselves with people who know how to guide us when we are feeling a little bit lost and a little bit unloved. You know. So yeah, it's really good to be surrounded by compassionate people, and to be compassionate towards ourselves. Yeah, something to think about. Thank you.
What being compassionate means. For me, being compassionate encompasses kindness, being non-judgmental, and not having less ego as possible. And I think it's treating ourselves and others with this kind of behavior, this mindful behavior. I think how we are compassionate to ourselves is how we should treat others. And I think this results, because, you know, it's like what Ken was saying, but I equate that to karma, where when you're mean to someone, someone else is mean to you, and it just becomes a pattern, and then people just get more and more hurt, and then they lash out at others, and it just goes around, and you know, that negativity. So I think being compassionate gives it a chance to lessen that. And I think it allows us to be just better people, you know, dealing with others as well. And I think it helps us keep our peace, because most of the time, this is one of the reasons why we get upset with people. Either we're judging them with our, you know, our expectations, or, you know, we're just upset, and, you know, I think that leads to the issues that we build up within ourselves. So being compassionate allows us to be, in the end, ultimately happier people. Yeah, so that's what being compassionate is. And I'm really trying, because I think sometimes we are more compassionate to others than we are to ourselves. And this is something I learned recently as well. So it's really important, and hopefully I'll get there soon. Thank you for listening.
Because I think everyone behave a certain way because of a reason. And just like what Alwin said, the motivation is to be happy. And sometimes being happy, some people link it to ego. So I guess the point of understanding just kind of lead people to be compassionate, because the point of understanding also comes from understanding about yourself, because all of us are the same, the motivation is the same. So it's important to be compassionate. I think if you think it's important to be compassionate to yourself, then it's important to be compassionate to people, because everyone has the same motivation. Yeah, that's my thought.
Thank you for sharing. I echo most of all of you guys' sentiment. In terms of my inner weather, I'm off this week, so I'm in a very good mood. But I have a lot of time on my hand and not knowing what to do with my time during the daytime. But I've been meditating a lot throughout this week. In terms of compassion, from my own personal experience, I feel like all of us have a compassionate seed in us. And oftentimes how we tap into the compassionate side of us is through suffering. And it's through suffering we realize the compassionate part of us. At least from my own personal experience, because of my own trauma and suffering, I come to realize that because I felt through my own pain that I can resonate to other people's pain. And through that resonance, that's where compassion arises. I echo with Paramase and everyone else that oftentimes we forgot how to be compassionate towards ourselves. And you'll come to realize that the more you are in touch with your compassionate side, the more you're in touch with your true nature. And the more you want to be of service to others through that compassionate heart. So through meditation and through the understanding and through your own personal sufferings and pain, you become a softer person, you become a kinder person, you become a more loving person to one another. And that's how you build a very positive community and sangha for that matter. And I feel like this group in particular has helped every one of us nurture that aspect in all of us. At least I feel like ever since I joined this group, I became a lot more softer than before, because we all resonate with one another. We can relate to one another's pain, and therefore we become more loving and kinder to ourselves, to one another, and to our own little community as well. So I do think that, credits to all of you guys, and thank you for always showing up no matter how busy you are. I'm always touched to see your faces every week, so thank you so much.